can sign something that looks very good today, and then tomorrow it's not. So you have to have a vision at least as to what you're doing with the artist. Have a plan for the artist. Because most people, where Romeo? Have a plan for your artist. Have a plan for your artist. Most people don't. You know, so, and treat the artist as a business. To me, my artist is a product. You have to find ways to market and make money off the product.
So it's a product of feelings?
No, I don't listen to the feelings.
Oh, okay.
It's just the product.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you have to be heartless sometimes. You have to be heartless. Trust me. No.
So let me get this straight.
Yeah.
By you saying this, you're operating from you being a record label.
Record label, yeah.
Because you're saying exactly, but in certain cases, the person calling the shots are the artist.
Yeah.
So there's quite.
Oh, you mean the artist calling the shots?
Exactly, because they are the owners of the label.
Okay. No, they shouldn't be.
No. They shouldn't? Or we don't have cases of.
Okay, you want to hear what you're saying?
No, in some cases, what you're saying is like that. Some artists are the record label.
So the artists want to do everything.
So they are the owners of the record label.
Yes,
so
they are telling
like Bing Nation, like Bing, or something like that.
Yes.
Okay, well, I still think he works with people.
Yeah, I understand that, but when you are the shot caller,
yes.
it's different from you, because you see, so what, there's a Stooge night, and there's a Tupac. Stooge owns the record label, and you have Tupac, who was an artist. You have Biggie Smalls, and then you have Sean Puffy Combs, and Puffy owns the record label. The same as, well, so he's got artists. So basically what I'm trying to say is, but in the case of a certain Jay-Z, you know, if you are good, yes. So if you own the label, then you call the shots, right? So I'm just trying to establish the different dynamics that exist with respect to an artist and they being managed, really.
I really think that if you're an artist and you want to own a label, still give it someone to run it. You can't run it. And if you're an artist with a label, I don't think any artist should sign to you.
If you're an artist
and you own a label, I don't think any other artist should sign to your label.
Why?
No, thank you. It will not work. It will not work. It will not work.
Okay.
You know, but I think artists should be artists, and they should employ people who would manage every other aspect of it.
Okay, so I'm sure there'll be enough questions and then we'll get into it. But let's quickly, I just want to also keep highlighting the areas that I think we need to, because we're summarizing. So you've mentioned the fact that you need to have a team, you need to have vision, you need to have...
You need to treat it like as a business.
You need to treat it as a business. What else? Anything about law?
I think, I just want to clear the air. I don't think we have labels in Ghana, period. We have production companies. Let's get that straight. Because a label, irrespective of whether it's a major or an independently run company, needs to have certain persons who perform certain roles.
There is something called independent labels.
Yes.
Do we have some here?
I still think they qualify to be production companies.
Please, what's the definition for a label?
What we do in Ghana, so a label will typically, even if it's an indie label, you would have somebody who is in charge of finishing or grooming. Okay, you have to teach your artists how to speak in public. They need to know how to talk, what to say, how to look, all of these things. Independent labels do these things. What we do is mostly focusing on the production of the music, getting it out there, meeting with fans, that sort of thing.
So would you say...
It's not bad.
Good. So would you say we have labels but they are understaffed? No, because I'm asking this because
yes and no. I will say they are under resourced and understaffed.
Okay, good. But then they are labels. I'm just trying to establish this. So for
they
example,
are production companies.
No.
They are production companies.
No.
So
Because we can bump exactly what we
so
no.
I'm just trying to establish because it's
I disagree with you.
Because I know, for example,
Hang on.
if we don't take it, the conversation is going to go this way. So let's just finish, and then we can have everything covered.
So three aspects defines the music industry. There's the recording business, which is the area we primarily focus on. There's the publishing industry, and there's the touring industry. Okay?
Or live music.
Touring or live music, yes, and all the ancillary aspects that are connected with it, like merchandising and that sort of thing. He used Burna Boy as an example. I'm going to quote something someone told me. He was a former A&R with Sony in, I think it was like 2015, and he said he had a meeting with Burna Boy's mom in Sony Music offices in the UK. He said that they had met many artists and their teams at the time. This guy later went on to become like, he headed one of the Def Jam labels at some point. I think he just resigned like a year ago. So I'm talking somebody who is really high up. He said in 2015, Mama Burna came with a flash disk, a pen drive, went into the conference room when all the A&Rs and the vice president were sitting down, and she asked to project a PowerPoint presentation. This was in 2015. Everything you see Burna Boy do today, she predicted it. It was on a chart. We are going to do this. After this, we'll do this. Then we'll come here. Hopefully, by 2019, we should have had 2 or 3 Grammy noms. Look where Burna Boy is now. You need to be intentional. Okay? Now, about him saying he believes an artist shouldn't sign another artist, I agree to a large extent, like 80%. But I think it's possible. But we've seen it happen time and again and failing. And it's primarily because a lot of artists do not work with professional teams who know what they're doing. In Ghana, what we do, I have a phrase for it, we call it vibes and inshallah. Jesus take the wheel, essentially. You understand? But you need to be super intentional. During COVID, I attended a workshop that was also co-chaired by one of Pharrell's managers. He works with a number of managers. He works with a management company. But one of his managers said something that for Pharrell, every year they have a 5-year plan they work with, and they leave like a 30% room for adjustment, whether it's social media strategy, whatever. But essentially, the Pharrell you see on social media looking all fresh, posting, doing his LV stuff, every day of his week is accounted for. They know what Pharrell is going to do 3 months from now on Wednesday at 4 p.m. And from what she said, the 30% wiggle room for change are to accommodate things like, there was a time when like the really hot social media platform was Trailer. And then it went to IG, and then now it's TikTok, right? So they don't change the strategy, they just tailor it to favor shifting trends. When they've exhausted 2 years out of the 5-year, the 5-year plan, they start tweaking an additional year to make it 4. By the time they exhaust that, they're tweaking another one. So everything is accounted for. That's how intentional they are. Now this is a guy who's worth hundreds of millions in earnings. And he's that organized. Now we'll come here. Because money makes things work. So if you think about it, as an independent person, you need to be like OCD when it comes to the detailing and that sort of thing. And the few people I've seen who have that trait, especially in our space, are the most successful. Even though they may not necessarily be a household name in Ghana, but they are super, super intentional about anything they do. Have I answered your question? You said something about law, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to understand, what has law got to do with this particular?
Everything. In fact, in the career path of an artist, I believe the moment you are at first off, one of the biggest mistakes I hear a lot of artists make is, oh, I'm looking for a manager. I think that is looking at it the wrong way. A good manager will find you when you're ready. Okay, let's get that straight. The moment you have a manager, hopefully, who understands what they need to do, the most important person you need on your team is a lawyer or an attorney who is well versed in the global music business, not just Ghana. Because there are certain things that are standard elsewhere in Ghana we are yet to like normalize, because we haven't really grown the industry to a point where even our legal practitioners have to go beyond the setting restrictions at Makola to understand setting legal differences, setting nuances that are essential in the career of an artist. So I think that is very, very important. A lawyer is one of the most important persons who has to be on your team. That's non-negotiable. People say lawyers are expensive. Actually, if you find the right one and you talk, I know a lot of people who give out a lot of free legal services. At least you can start paying them when you make money, based on a commission. Okay.
Okay. So if we're talking about lawyers playing a key role, a vital role,
yes, then
it means that the law has to be in place for lawyers to be able to function within this particular space.
Well,
so then in effect, what has government policy got to do with the success of the music industry then? Am I making sense?
A lot of sense. A lot, actually. But like I cited earlier, I gave the scenario of a car parked in a garage, right? That would not work if left idle. Practitioners across the entire value chain of music and other creative disciplines in Ghana haven't given enough credence to, let me even say this, the Ghana Copyright Act, right, is outdated. And it was updated in 2020, but it's not yet effective because the legislative instrument to make it work is yet to be passed, I believe, right? And even with that, there are a few lapses, because even globally in the music industry in the last 2 years, there are certain things that have changed. And we need to reflect what's happening globally. However, even with our outdated laws, right, we have barely scratched the potential of that. And I'll be very honest with you, it is our responsibility to point out some of these things, which we can't do if we are not knowledgeable about these things to begin with. Because, Charlie, you can't blame the lawyer who wanted to specialize in intellectual property but ended up doing family law, oil and gas, company law, or tax law, tort law, what have you. Because a lot of artists don't come to lawyers anyway. Ghanaian artists, you would approach the lawyer after they've signed the contract with our gas. The house burn, they come see me and say, oh, Charlie, how we go feed you the house? Ah, shit. You see, so
even for the law to be in our favor, everything about it depends on us.
Absolutely.
And our ignorance is telling on the government policies that exist.
Yes.
And whether or not they are working and how we actually react to these elements.
Absolutely.
So if somebody is supposed, if there is any form of equipment that is supposed to, or let's say, equipment that's supposed to be done, it's for us to know so much we can affect the business, we can affect the environment,
yes,
and we can get the government to put things in place in a way that they ought to actually be.
I totally agree with you. And yes, it's a yes to that. And it's not just even law. If you take an area like even insurance, until like the last 2 or 3 years, we did not have dedicated insurance packages from insurance companies that were created to service creative businesses. So it means if you're lucky, Money Day House, or you have like a top 10 Billboard record, hopefully you have a good team, you make lots of money, and you buy certain things to open a state-of-the-art studio. Majority of our insurance companies not going to show you, because even the idea of evaluating a Neve preamp or an API mixing console is new to them.
Interesting. As a matter of fact, I remember in South Africa, I was engaging the folks at Kapaso, right, and then they explained to me how artists had insurance packages as part of what they were doing.
Absolutely.
I think for pension, so to say.
Yes.
And I'm thinking in Ghana, once you are not part of the formal sector, even though pension is mandatory in terms of the state contributions, you have nothing for you. So currently, well, you can run the entire life and you don't have any state contribution, so to say, because you're not in the formal sector. And so there's a gap in that particular space. So then it comes back to us, really.
Absolutely. There's something I want to say to this, to add to this. I did mention something about the publishing industry. The publishing industry is that aspect of the music industry that ensures that the usage or exploitation of your work perpetually pays you money. Me, I chop BBC money. If BBC plays 60 seconds? I forget to. 30 to 45 seconds of your music. It pays you £100. One station, one incident of airplay. So imagine if you have your publishing thing business sorted, and you have like the #1 record where, like, for most commercial radio stations across the world, you just have your music like on rotation. That's crazy. Now that's going to ensure that at least every month, right, you're going to have your royalty statements and something will people snake. The snake thing you talk about, it's a bit dicey because a lot of entertainment practitioners do not have a steady cash flow. So they need to create a product that is tailored for that sort of earning potential.
Yes, and when you have people who understand that they need to work with states to achieve that, they can actually call for it to be done.
Yes.
So I'm just speaking to government policy and how we can actually affect.
Plus financial literacy. This is something that I need to say real quick before I go off. The professional lifespan of most entertainers are like athletes. Okay, if my cocoa season be next year I may be able to make maybe 80% of a chunk of the money I may generate throughout my lifetime. So there's some artists who maybe in 5 years can make $500 million or 5 billion. 5 years. If they live to be 70, it means they need to be making decisions that will stretch that money for their lean season.
Hence, financial literacy.
If not, Charlie, the kidney transplant there, go fund me.
Okay, so the last thing I want to mention, and then maybe probably Seven can speak to it, and then we can get to the audience so that we can get to the next part of the program is this. So I'm looking at the music business industry, and I'm seeing 4 clear legs. The first being artists, and so when we say artists, we're talking about the people responsible for the creatives in that particular space. And then you now have the institutions responsible for running the space. So you can say labels, you can say event organizers in terms of so that, and the booking agents and the various companies essentially like in the space. And then you have the professionals who are not necessarily creatives, but working with these business organizations. So accountants, PR experts, whatever, they're all working in that particular space. And then you have the support system. So the support system is basically what we cannot do, but government does for us, or things within the space that supports the industry and ensures that it runs. I'm looking at these 4 areas, and I think when it comes to the middle belt, the companies which enable
work where they want to work. And I'm sure if our industry was that attractive, because everybody wants to go to oil and gas, everybody wants to go to a bank. Why? It's attractive. Ours is not really attractive, so it's up to us to make it attractive. So let's see, instead of talking about companies, I'll definitely have to give it to Richie Links. He did a good job setting up Links, but over the years, they are not a record label. He would say record label sales, and then I think now they're trying to get into films and other things. The music is changing, everything is changing, and even art in itself, creativity in itself, everything is becoming one. Because we'll need an artist like Muisc to be everything, not just an artist. Content creator and everything other thing. Attracting professionals to our industry would mean, not to diss anyone, but like, imagine somebody graduates from college or has a good degree, probably first in their class, and then I personally think that they would just think it was not attractive for me to even be there. But personally, I think that's why they could pay a good professional, to work, to be part of the scene, but most of them will not. We have other people. I know there are a few professionals who work with the likes of, I know these people are quite professional, with possibly college degrees at ATC, and a few other people that I know of. So they are coming, but at the end of the day, we don't have companies. They're all working for individuals, right? If we had proper companies, like let's say a management company, not a manager, like a management company, that's what I think will help a lot. But an artist first exposure to the industry or anything in the industry is always the manager. So if they pick the wrong manager, that's it.
Okay, so he's going to give his remarks and we'll pass on the microphone for, if not, I'm going to have to stand and get this microphone in the place. So
this is part submission, part question.
Sure. All right.
To answer your question, Robert, I think we need a certain level of intentionality, planning and seriousness in the sector as well, to develop it into an industry so that Makola, for instance, can have a dedicated music business course for lawyers. But if the marketplace isn't right for it, it's a catch-22. So they are also training professionals like accountants who may not necessarily understand the nuances of what it takes to do the books for an entertainment company. So it's a catch-22. It's like I scratch my back, you scratch my type situation. You understand? And the longer we do not formalize a lot of the activities that happen on ground, the longer it will be to actually have some of these challenges sorted. Thank you.
All right, so let's put our heads together So I know there are questions 1,001, and some of them will be as simple as, I'm into urban gospel. How do I make money off it?
My name is Senior Master Blanson. I am a disappointed artist, road manager, social media manager for a couple of artists. If you know me, so you guys know. So what I want to say is, as you guys mentioned, quote unquote, we don't have a record label in Ghana. Because when people start, they don't want to employ the right people to do the job. We've seen the past. So as you were saying, I was like, oh, bam, like Black Avenue Music. When he signed about 7 or 8 artists, every artist had a manager, a road manager, a social media manager. But the question was, were these people qualified to play that kind of job they were playing? I'm not demoting anyone or saying, but let's see, is it Fadi Charles? He was the manager for Darling Beach. No, okay, so Sebi. So this is someone who isn't a music person, but is a manager. Manager with the points fine, but the work. See, there's a work to be done, and we don't like using the right people. Recently, there was an event at the Kempinski Africa Cinema Summit. Sorry, Moving. And I actually spoke about people employing family and friends to work on their films as production designers. Once I've spent over 60,000 in Nafti learning the same job, and you give the job to your cousin, you expect the same value. And it is Elba actually made a comment about it. Because of that, when he came to Ghana, he said, I actually got a gig into this gig and got some few coins. Yeah, that was the facts. But on top of it, let's look at how our neighbors, our brothers and sisters in Nigeria, the way they do their marketing before they even release an album, even a song. Let's look at the video. It was very instructive.
So, my name is M-Boy, and I'm a singer-songwriter and also a budding lawyer. And mine is so mine is more like a comment and an addition to what he said. Most of the times, the creatives that come up lately, they are interested in getting the money faster than knowing what you need to do to get the money. So they come to you after, as Sina said, the problem has already been created. And I see the need that no matter what you do as a creative, once you fall in a creative space, you should try, even if you cannot talk to a lawyer at the top, you can start with someone and go with the person. And then you build your relationship and foundation with them. As to what, so one other thing is that if you are even an independent artist, you are literally an enterprise. And then you would operate as a sole proprietor if you are even in a company, like let's say commercial practice setting. So no matter the situation, you find yourself to start with the legal basis and know what this industry requires, even in as much as it's difficult. And also about the course that they are trying to push for the Ghana School of Law. Some of us have actually had interest in that because we are music enthusiasts and we are aspiring for that. We put it before the panel before, but what they said is that there is no structure for which they can use to follow, to be able to know whether when lawyers come out, they will actually get stable sort of income here, or they will get some money, or they will get, because most lawyers, there's something we call eat what you kill. Some of them work on commission. So if they come and then they do not find that there's something, someone can stand up tomorrow and say he wants to be an artist. You get what it means, because they have the setup. So I beg you, I think it will be very necessary that you get legal advice before you start with your creative career. I won't limit it to music alone. Thank you.
Thank you. That's quite interesting and insightful. Thank you very much. Who else?
My name is For Real Benson.
Your name is?
For Real.
For real.
For Real Benson.
The first name is For Real.
My name is For Real Benson. Yeah. I'm a special effects and a stunt director and a movie practitioner. Yeah, I just want to add up to some few things, but disagree as well. In the sense that most of the record labels, as we said, that we don't have a record labels. We do have a record label, but we should give them credit. Because the way forward is what matters, because most of them, they don't have the structures or the facilities or the resources to employ or bring up some certain set of people. They wish they can, but I believe so much that what we should be looking into is how best, what's the way forward? Creating an educational forum for them to understand. Because for me, I've filmed wherever you've been, Sun Records, 21st Force, most of the movies, international. Starting from Dark Tower, Game of Thrones. I mean, there are people, even the sound engineers and stuff that are on board, I mean, they are from some certain set of people. And there is a lot of money that goes in there. And most of the movie we bring all the way from maybe the States, even from South Africa down to Ghana here to film. We employ about 100 people, both cast and crew, 200, cast and crew on set. But because there was money involved, over 500,000. Even this, the ad we shot, the NFL ad we shot here in Ghana, is over 50 million. Whereby we brought in some other, but the resources is what matters. So we should be looking at way forward, what we had to do. We should educate them better, for them to be, I mean, with the little they've done, for them to improve and do better, much better. I think with that,
yeah,
we could be great.
The saying that we don't have record labels, it's not really an insult to them. I think I can best say it this way. Mining company, Goldfields, a big mining company, and Galamsey. That's the easiest way I can put it. They probably won't produce gold, but Madam Hammond Sweet, I think you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the easiest I can put it. Like they both, it's mining company, Goldfields, and that's it.
Yeah, so that's why I always want to say that.
So I'm not saying that they are not doing what they're doing. They're doing what they're doing. They produce, like, to me, sometimes the production labels are actually their production companies actually do more work than labels, because they will record you, they will sometimes even brand you, get you ready, and then the record label comes in with the money, and then you are something else, you know. But yes, that's the easiest way I can put it. Gold films and then a mining pit. I can't say this.
For real. I just want to clarify a few things that I said. I still stand by the fact that I said we don't have labels. It's not a negative thing per se. As a matter of fact, even globally, I'm talking North America, I'm talking Europe, a lot of the major labels are now favoring production companies. Because about 15, 18 years ago, the major labels stopped developing artists. Please listen closely to understand. Back in the day, someone called an artist and repertoire, an A&R, was originally taxed to go out, scout talent. They sign the talent to a production deal to develop that talent to a certain point, then they give you a proper label deal. So you're literally being paid as an employee. There's a band called No Doubt. How many of you know of Gwen Stefani? When Gwen Stefani was signed to Interscope Records, she was benched for 8 years before her first song came out. She had a stylist, she was going to the gym. All of these were being taken care of by the record company. So now, in the era of streaming, what the major labels do right now to try and consolidate market share is they want to do monkey the work, baboon the chop. You do the hard work, develop the talent, then we'll come give you a deal. So it is actually good we have production companies. We just don't understand the fact that we are lacking in resources, but for real, are you following me?
I'm with you.
No, I'm coming to it. You mentioned, because I work in film as well, and on the academia side in practice and animation, right? When you say resources, we break it into several aspects. There's human resource. You need skilled personnel. As a matter of fact, if I have $1 million, I think investing in Ghana, the way things are currently, is bad business for me. Because if we do not have structures that will guarantee that, mind you, if I have like several millions sitting somewhere, I know where to put 5 CDs to get 15 CDs back, guaranteed. That's how I became rich in the first place, and that's how I maintain my wealth. But in the music space currently, as it stands, Charlie, you have no guarantees. If for pray plenty, if for do fasting, some of the money for go harvest Sunday, go give them, so some may come back as blessings. You understand? It's like trying to fetch water with a basket. It doesn't make sense. So even the monetary resource and investment we need a human resource sorted out first. Every business person who is an entrepreneur is like, excuse me to say, shit and flies. You don't have to tell an entrepreneur, oh, come invest in this sector. If it's lucrative, they'll know and they'll come. You don't have to beg them. You know, as a prime example. And a lot of those productions bring foreign digital imaging technicians. Yes, we have skilled people on the ground, but Charlie, still we know they reach. That's why when these things happen, I'll give you a classic example. Most of us in this room would agree that the one type of music that a majority of Ghanaians agree encompasses or captures the Ghanaian experience is highlight music, right? Highlight music is primarily expressed on the guitar. Do you know 90% of recordings, not just highlight recordings, even Afro beats and other stuff where people play guitars, we don't know how to record guitars properly. That is a human resource problem. You understand? So I'm not disagreeing with you per se, but I'm still saying my point holds. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is actually a good thing for us to have production companies, train personnel in the fields to attract investment, and perhaps we can scale up and start having labels if it's necessary. Thank you.
Don't worry, I side with you. But you see, the nice thing is that it's okay to disagree.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
That was where I came in.
Great.
I said we should have a forum where we educate them properly and elaborate every other aspect of it for them to know, you know, and help improve and let government unseek it. Most of them, the government there, partner with them in some certain way and sink it into them, make it a conscious effort for every part. Where by so doing, you see everyone, we sit up. Nobody wants to lose. Everybody wants to get.
As for government,
you know,
we have to enter into
you know,
when people are getting going for
Charlie, you fight the parliament too. Don't fire. Charlie, this one fire people body ammo. I like that.
No, see, I live there. I enjoy everything. Everything you say, I agree with it, and I just want us to grow because I also live there. I work with them, but it would be nice for me to come back home as well, whereby everything I get to do there, we do same and benefit from it from here.
True, and we hope that nobody says you are serious when they Yes, please, let's say the question.
Okay, my name is Princess Pan. Yes, I'm into poetry. And people say one is near words, when you read it as poetry, when you add melody to it, and it becomes a song, right? If I want to know, we just mentioned something about being intentional in your work. I would like to know, be intentional in which sense, what follows are the best way in marketing your pieces. You get me?
As a poet.
Not just a poet, because most of them here are, let's put in creative sense.
Okay. Have you heard of Copy Ghana? Okay. There's a CMO in Ghana. This is an institution that a CMO is essentially an institution that is tasked to help safeguard, protect, and enable you monetize your creative works. Okay. If you are a poet, do you perform? You perform, but you publish. Not yet. Okay. So there are various ways you can monetize poetry, same for music and whatnot, right? I spoke about royalties for music and how you get paid. It's the same for poets. There's an institution in Ghana known as Copy Ghana, where if you write a book, for instance, it's supposed to generate money for you, right? And do you know that there's a tax that is collected in Ghana whenever anything that can potentially be used to infringe on somebody's copyright is imported into the country? Yes. So flash drives, external hard drives, even paper, A4 paper, toners for ink, printers. And they distribute these monies to these organizations. So if you are registered to some of these organizations, I think, how many times do they pay a year? Twice a year? It's once a year. Oh, Charlie. Sorry? Copy Ghana, it's one of three. There's one called ASOC. So for the film people, the audiovisual people, the name of the CMO is ASOC, and for the music people is GAMO. But this conversation, they sound hot too much. Sorry?
It's Audiovisual Society of Ghana. Right?
Yeah, audio recording and ASOC. Yeah. So audiovisual, yeah. Now the problem is with these three CMOs, issues day. And one of the reasons issues day is because Charlie practitioners like you don't even know it exists. For your attention to go there, make you give them fire. And if possible, kick them out, replace them, write better laws, interface with governments and all the necessary vehicles that would necessitate that it functions properly. Have I answered your question, please? Marketing. Did you say marketing? Okay. I'm not going to be ultra specific. I'm just going to paint with brush strokes because we live in the social media era. The most important thing you can do is generate social capital and find ways and means of cultivating a community. Right now, Charlie, I am one of those who is like, I mean, outspoken against like the social media. Oh, this guy gets 6 million streams, so I go where people they farm. People are great farmers digitally.
I don't mean to cut you, but I just
Let me answer a question.
No. I just want to quickly say this. The course we are about to do
Would highlight.
is supposed to delve into these elements.
Awesome.
So we're just laying the premise for why you need a course.
Right.
So all of the details in there, you actually get them from the course. So yes, you can talk about your family.
The most important thing right now is to cultivate a community. Now, because most of us are on social media, we conflict the difference between having an audience and having a fan. An audience is hip to your popular song. The moment Romeo Swaggy next single come, I'm jumping on him. But a fan even knows the aftershave and the cologne they wear. They very likely would take 2 shifts at work so they can afford your
public relations person. As we are talking about how to make money, I want to make this contribution. I want all of you, those of you who are artists, who are managers, to know that yourself, you are a very big product. And as a result, you need not to take your branding so loosely. People think that branding is all about your looks, the aesthetics. It's part of the brand element, but that is not your brand. Basically, in simple terms, we say that brand is the space you occupy in the minds of people. That is your brand. So, when you are not here and I'm thinking about you, the way you see Sarkodia in your mind today, when Sarkodia is not in front of you, it's Sarkodia's brand. And it goes beyond what the person wears. Your talks, as your brand voice, the tones, and lots of things come to play. And some of these things can play out well when you take your PR serious. And I want to leave you with this. Don't think that you always need bigger platforms to grow. Don't forget social media platforms. An example is an artist like Black Sherif. He took his own media world. Then, as a result of that, he got an earned media, which is mostly free. And people started posting, and boom, it's there. He didn't have to do a lot of paid media. So please, take seriously your own media platforms, because they can become your path to make it. Because it is about fortifying and leveraging.
Indeed.
So fortify yourselves on these platforms, and the leveraging will come. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you don't manage your media well, it can also become your downfall. Because it can project all your negatives, essentially. Thank you very much to our panelists. Let's put our hands together for Sophie and Sammy. At this point, so we've had a conversation that basically points out so many problems.